AntonioGarciaBooks.com presents Mannequin Nights, written and read by Antonio Garcia. The storekeeper took one look around and seeing that everything seemed normal, flipped off the lights. Betty moved her eyes side to side to make sure the store was empty. Confident that it was, she slowly moved her hands, then her feet, and finally broke out in a full stretch. She stepped off her pedestal and began walking around the store, greeting all of her friends that were slowly waking up. "Betty!" her friend Anne called out. "Wasn't today one of the slowest days ever on Earth?" They both laughed as Anne joined her. "God, the store was so slow, I almost started moving just to break the boredom," Betty agreed. All the mannequins in the store began moving around and forming smaller groups. Their features became less plastic until they turned into normal humans. None of them had any idea how they had come alive. One day they were only plastic, the next they were human, but only at night. During the day they were frozen, only able to watch the world of humans around them. "Where do you want to go tonight?" Anne asked. "How about we go to the Charleston?" Becky suggested. "I really like that one." "Perfect," Anne agreed. They walked around the store, trying on different outfits. This is one of their favorite parts. They had an entire store of clothes to choose from. After a short time, they stepped out of the changing rooms and showed each other outfits they had decided on. With a sly smile, Becky opened one of the registers and pulled out some cash to spend. The store would notice the numbers were off slightly, but they only took out small amounts and saved whatever they didn't spend. Whenever they went out, they rarely paid for drinks anyways. They were both attractive and never had trouble finding desperate men to buy them all the drinks they wanted. "All right, let's go," Becky said. They said their goodbyes to their friends and fellow mannequins, then half-danced out the door. The club was already crowded when they arrived. Even with no IDs, they had no trouble getting by the bouncer at the front door. They both looked like they were in their mid-20s, and the bars were always happy to have another couple of beautiful girls filling up the place. All the guys in the bar watched as Becky and Anne danced the night away. Being limited to only being alive at night, they made the most of every night out. "Hi there," a guy said to Becky as she leaned on the bar, giving herself a break from dancing. "Hi," she said playfully. "I'm Nick," he said. "Becky," she said back. "Can I buy you a drink?" he asked. Showing a little surprise, she answered, "Sure." Something in his eye caught her attention. She had been looked lustfully by every man she met, but the way he was looking at her was different. It was more longing than lust. Intrigued, she asked, "So what do you do?" "I'm an accountant," he said. "Not really exciting, I know." He flashed a smile and she couldn't help but return it. "How about you?" he asked. "I work at Frederick's," she answered, having answered that question 100 times. She wondered how many times men had gone to the store looking for her. "The department store?" he asked. "That's the one," she said. To her surprise, they talked longer than she normally did. Usually, Anne would come save her and drag her back to the dance floor, but she was preoccupied dancing with a man of her own. "Do you want to dance?" she asked, surprising herself. "I'm not much of a dancer," he said, "but I'll give it a try for you." For the first time that she could remember, her heart fluttered. They danced for several songs until Nick said he needed a break. They were both laughing as they made their way back to the bar and ordered more drinks. As it neared closing time, Nick made his move. "I'd like to see you again," he said. Normally, Becky would gracefully decline, but she instead found herself saying, "I like that too." Happy that she hadn't rejected him, he asked for her number. Her smile faded a little as she told him she didn't have a phone. Nick thought that was a little odd. Maybe she was just saying that because she didn't want to give him her number, but there was nothing he could do about that. Seeing his disappointment, she said, "I can meet you here again tomorrow night if you like." "Absolutely," he said, brightening up. They talked until the bartender announced they were closing to the groan of the crowd. "So I guess I'll see you tomorrow," he said, wishing their time together wasn't already over for the night. "I can't wait," Becky replied. Nick walked her and Anne out the door, even offered them both a ride, but they both graciously declined. "We're not far," Becky explained, seeing Nick's disappointment. They said their goodbyes, and Becky watched as Nick got into his car and drove away. When they got back in the store, they quickly got undressed, putting their clothes in a pile for the employees to hang back up, and put back on their original outfits. By the time the store opened, all the mannequins were back in their original spots and in their original positions. Most of the day was just like any other day when Becky heard Nick's voice come from behind her. She wished she could turn her head, but around 4 every morning it turned to plastic and she couldn't move at all. "Hi," she heard Nick talking to one of the employees. "Is Becky here?" "Becky?" the girl asked. "I'm sorry, I don't think we have anyone named Becky working here." "Oh," he said. "Maybe she's off today. If you see her, can you tell her Nick stopped by and says hi?" Trying to stay polite, the girl said, "I don't think Becky works here at all. I can ask around, but unless she just started today, I know everyone who works here." Surprise and disappointment set in. "Oh," he said. Okay, thank you. Now feeling awkward, he quickly walked out of the store, thinking that she had given him fake information. Becky wished she could more than only hear the conversation and listen as he walked away. She couldn't even see him leave. That night when the store closed and Becky returned to her human form, she practically fell into tears. This had been the first time she had felt like she really connected with a man, and she was afraid the opportunity was gone. Her only hope now was that he showed up that night and she would be able to explain it to him, though she had no idea what she would be able to say. "Becky," Anne said, quickly walking to her. "Are you alright? I saw everything." Anne was facing the opposite direction than Becky, so she could see everything that happened. "I need to get to the club and explain it to him," Becky said. Curious, Anne asked, "What are you going to tell him?" "I have no idea," Becky said honestly, "but I have to tell him something." They quickly got dressed, dispensing with the fun part of picking an outfit out, and satisfied that they looked good, headed out to the club. Becky let out a sigh of relief when she saw Nick sitting at the bar. Both her hearts leapt when Nick saw Becky enter. Instinctively, he waved. She was so nervous knowing that one of his first questions would be why she had lied about working at Frederick's. What led to her conflict was that she didn't know if she should make up a lie or tell him the truth. Lying to him would be the easiest and make the most sense, but she also felt a connection with him she had never felt before and didn't want to possibly ruin it with a lie. "Hi," he said when she approached the bar. "Hi," she said back, expecting the next question to come out to be why she had lied about working at the department store. "Can I get you a drink?" he asked pleasantly. "Yes, please," she replied. Feeling embarrassed that he had stopped by her work to talk to her, even if she didn't really work there, he avoided mentioning he was there for now. Instead, he asked how her day was. "It was good," she said, not elaborating. "How was your day?" "It was good," he said. They talked, drank, and danced until once again the bartender yelled, "Last call!" Both a little saddened that another night was over, they started to make their way outside. "Hey," Nick started. "I didn't want to say anything earlier because I was embarrassed, but I stopped by Frederick's to say hi, but a girl there said you didn't work there. I don't want to pry into your life if you don't want to tell me anything, but I want you to know that I like you, and I'd like to get to know you better." She shyly smiled and said, "It's complicated." "Okay," he said. "I get that. When you're ready to talk, just let me know. I can wait, but I like you, and I'd like to see more of you." Becky didn't want to lose the opportunity, but didn't even know how to start. She turned to Anne and said she'd meet up with her in a little bit. Showing concern, Anne nodded. "Let's talk," Becky said, leading Nick away. They walked to a 24-hour coffee shop and grabbed a table. "I want you to know that I like you too, but there's something I need to tell you," she started. He could only look at her expectantly. As they sipped their drinks, she explained the best she could about what she was and how she lived her life. To her surprise, he didn't show any signs that he didn't believe her. He only nodded from time to time, though she could see the wheels turning in his mind. She finished her story with when she met him and how she was starting to feel about him. They sat there in silence for a few minutes while she let him process everything she had told him. While he was deep in thought, her fear grew that he thought she was crazy and was only thinking of a way to say it to her. "Okay," he said after a few minutes, surprising her. "So we only have the nights together. We can work with that." She sat there stunned. She had never thought of telling anyone, always fearing that they would just think she was crazy. "You believe me?" she asked, needing to be sure he wasn't only humoring her. "I do," he said. "You have no reason to lie to me, and it sounds like you have the same feelings for me as I do for you. So I want to see where this goes." "Me too," she said, barely able to contain her excitement. "How much longer do you have tonight?" he asked. She looked at the clock on the wall and said, "Just a little over an hour. I should probably get back so I can put my clothes back." "Well," he said, "since I know the truth about you, can I walk you back? Tuck you in, so to speak?" She smiled. This was new territory for her. The other mannequins looked at them both in shock. No human had ever caught them moving before, and a few of them showed obvious concern. "It's okay," Becky said. "He's with me." With no time to discuss, they all went back to putting their clothes away and taking their positions. After Becky was dressed, Nick helped her onto her stand. When she had her balance, Nick leaned forward and kissed her. "I can't wait to see you tomorrow night," he whispered and gave her another light kiss. When he pulled away, his eyes grew for a moment when he realized he had turned back to plastic. Knowing from what she had told him that she was still aware of what was going on around her, he gave her another smile and kissed her plastic lips softly one more time. Though she couldn't move, her heart fluttered as she watched him walk away to sneak out the back of the store. I hope you enjoyed this reading of my short story, Mannequin Nights. Please remember to take a moment to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Every new subscriber will get a shout out in an upcoming episode. These short story podcasts are uploaded every week to YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, Patreon, Reddit, and my website, AntonioGarciaBooks.com. There you can also order a signed copy of my mystery novel, Sins of the Fathers, and pre-order my upcoming compilation book, Short Stories from the Mind of a Madman, Volume 2. You can show your support by becoming a patron on Patreon, buying some merch, or by following me on Goodreads, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, Reddit, and Spreaker, all of which are listed on my website. Again, I hope you enjoy the short story, and you join me again next week.